You are listening to the Built to Grow podcast.
All right, welcome back to the Built to Grow podcast. I'm your host, Tim Lyons, in studio, joined by Randy Angston. What's up, fella?
Hey, it feels like it's been forever.
Has it, though?
No.
Long week.
Mm-hmm.
It's only Tuesday. Only Tuesday. Got some quick announcements, guys. We revamped the CLA, the Client Lifecycle Automation. That campaign's got some new tweaks and turns, and it's looking pretty good now. So we've got another workshop coming up February 25th and 26th.
Correct.
Again, if you have not heard of the CLA, which is our Client Lifecycle Automation, it's a completely automated system for your gym. We create it custom, right? You can create any email you want, any text message, any voicemail broadcast. It basically hits all your leads to nurture to appointments to show to conversions, getting past people back after they cancel, reminding people after they freeze that they're coming off of a freeze, welcoming. It's an onboarding sequence for your new clients, your trial conversions. Somebody no-shows on you, it's got a journey for that. If it's somebody cancels their appointment, they got to
be nurtured back to another one.
Nurture for that. So it hits all the spots. It's got long-term nurture. We've got a whole year's worth of content in there for your email campaigns, completely done with you in a 2-day workshop. And just to reiterate, a lot of people are, they may not know at the end of the 2 days, you got a complete system done. It's not like theory. It's not, we're not teaching you like what automation can do. We're building it side by side so you have a usable system when you're done. And one of the biggest things that nobody even talks about is the fact that if you were to ever go to sell your operation, your gym, this system, the CLA, is an asset to your business because it's basically a system for the new owner to come in.
Yeah.
Not that you're going to sell today something to talk about that, you may not be considering, like, this thing isn't one of those things that it works this month, doesn't work next month. Like some of the campaigns you run on Facebook, they kind of die off, right? Or, that 6-week challenge everybody used to do doesn't work anymore. This is the system that will be in your business for 5-10 years from now. You'll be using this thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's as imperative a system or a software in the business as your merchant processor
Or MindBody.
or exactly, or your class schedule or any of that. I mean, that's the thing. It's not something. This isn't just a marketing play. This is a system.
More info and video on they can kind of see behind the scenes. Where's that?
Yeah, winninggym.com/workshop. winninggym.com/workshop.
Perfect. Okay, got that out of the way, guys. This episode's all about staffing. When should you hire your next coach? When should you hire that front desk person? When should you hire your admin or whoever it is? And this has been coming up. We're in the seat right now. Pulse Fitness. We're interviewing right now, and we've got a need for a new coach, actually 2 new coaches, as well as front desk and admin stuff. And we have all this kind of stuff. We scaled way down, right? We got rid of our front desk. We didn't need it when we were closed. And we just been managing it without it. We went kind of to a skeleton crew that like a lot of you guys did.
Yeah, a lot of people are sitting in that boat, especially after last year.
Yeah, or should have.
Should be,
yeah. But we cleaned it up, but the question is, do you hire before you have the need, or do you wait till you have the need to hire?
Yeah, and obviously, before we sat down here, we literally were going through this real time and living this problem or experience, and that's the thing. I don't think there is like a perfect answer, but we wanted to highlight a bunch of the reasons and the things you should be considering before making a decision one way or another. I think this is one area where people don't consider all of the things at play.
There's so many options.
It's just exactly, and it's one of those impromptu. We needed we needed another coach, so we just went and did it. Well, was it appropriate for the business at that time?
Okay, so let's talk about semi-private training, for example. One of the things that you have to consider when you're doing semi-private training is how many clients do you train during the hour? That comes to the conversation about capacity. So an easy way to get more capacity without hiring another coach is to add another available slot from 4 to 5 or from 5 to 6. You now can take more clients per hour and you don't need to hire another coach. That by far is the smartest thing you can do if you're doing well with 4. If you're
There you go.
doing well, if you're not doing well coaching 4 people, then I would absolutely not recommend going to 5.
I like this. Before you continue down this, because that's exactly where you should be first.
Yeah.
Why don't you articulate the ways of changing? How can the business change revenue or create more revenue? How can the business make more money? Because I think that's where we need to preface that before explaining it, right? So we want to make more money. There's only certain things that we could do in order to make more money in the business.
Right. So 3 ways to make more money in every business. More clientele, right? You sign up more members, you make more money. Number 2, you increase the average spend per customer. So they're paying $99 now, and you have 100 customers. That's $10,000 a month. You go to 150, that goes to $115,000 a month. Pretty simple math, right? You didn't bring in any more clients. You just increased the average spend.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing is sell more things to them more often. So profit centers, supplements, T-shirts, apparel, all those things, you can increase the total spend per client, not just the average spend, but the total spend. So those are the only 3 ways to generate more revenue.
Mm-hmm.
Now you can keep more. You can keep more revenue by cutting expenses.
Yeah.
And that's absolutely something that you should have done during this transitional time, and many of you did. And I've heard a lot of people are actually more profitable now with less clients than they were before.
I wanted to preface that because as you were talking about adding more available training slots per hour, that is right there is one of those things where you're not increasing. You're not exactly. You're not adding an expense to increase the revenue. There's no out of pocket in order to deliver on that within reason.
Well, there isn't. There isn't, because it's a great example of, well, depending on how you pay your coaches. That's the very first thing, yeah. If you pay your coaches a flat salary or hourly wage, then by adding another slot in that hour, you don't increase your salary. There's no extra burden.
Yep.
If you pay your coaches per head, per percentage, those are issues. You'll never get ahead. So if you think about the way you pay your staff, you can do it a couple different ways. The way we recommend is a flat pay. Like they're going to clock in and clock out, and they're going to make X no matter what they do during those hours. And I hear both sides of this, guys. I hear, you shouldn't do that because then the gym takes all the risk if there's nobody being trained in that hour. Then my point of view, which is the opposite of that, is you can always find work for those coaches to do. If they're not physically training the clients at that hour, guess what? They're doing outreach. They're, not cleaning the gym, but they're generating.
And I would put that back on. That's not the responsibility of the person in that seat. That's not the coach's fault. It's you as the business owner who set their job, who created their job description. That should be there no matter what.
Yeah.
So your coach is not just a coach, and that's what Tim's getting at.
Yeah, correct. And the point is that it's up to the pressure's on the gym, right? The pressure's on the business to fill the schedule and to keep people on that coach's schedule and being trained. If you don't have enough clients, that's when you got to start looking at squeezing schedules and things like that. But let's go back to how you pay your coaches. If you pay a flat rate, there's no additional burden to the salary when you add more people to those time slots. And that's kind of the way, what's semi-appealing about large group training is you pay the coach a class rate or whatever, and you can throw 50 people in there. Now, we obviously don't recommend only large group training. We switched to semi as our thing, switch to semi-private training. But going back to, should you hire a coach? If you're feeling the need to hire a new coach because you're full, look at extending the capacity first, going from 4 slots to 5 to 6. If you're already at 6 and you're full there, yes, it's time to hire a new coach. However, things to think about. Do you need to hire somebody full-time out the gate? Probably not. There's probably those 4 or 5 hours a day that you've got like a lot, like overflow. Yeah. Maybe you hire them for 4 hours. The point I'm going to make in this a couple times is to only hire when the need is there. The need is there. And it's tough because it's a catch-22. If you don't have the availability, you can't put people on the schedule. But if you have the availability and nobody you put on the schedule, then you're paying too much for that. So you have to forecast. You have to look at your seasonal months. You have to look at, do you drop off in the summer? Yeah. We do. We get crushed in the summer. It's 30% loss. it's too hot here. This is Arizona. Maybe in winter you're in Canada.
Yeah.
And it's
You
super
guys are
cold.
packed.
You guys are cold in the winter, and people like go to Florida, you know,
Yep.
and live there for the summer or the winter, or Arizona. Actually, everybody
Yeah,
comes
they're
here.
here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's why our busy times. So everybody's here. So things to consider. Now, I'm in a position where we're kind of in this weird transitional place where we need to hire a coach because we're losing a coach, right? So we're losing a coach. We know that, and we got to backfill that one. However, that one coach has 6 across the board.
Yeah.
Do we put a new coach that doesn't know our systems on day one with a 7 hour straight 6-6-6-6-6-6? It's not really a smart thing.
Yeah, you're asking for something to break.
So ideally, we would hire another coach and let that float off. But now we've got the burden to fill up both coaches. So again, it's situational. One thing that I would tell, well, I'll hit that at the end. But so in our position, we've got to hire 2 coaches because we don't want to put that new hire in a position where they're slammed.
Yeah.
And they burn out or the experience drops, because
Sure.
it will.
Yeah.
So we're going to hire 2 coaches, but the justification for hiring 2 coaches is, guess what? We're changing our facility. We're going into a new space. We want to groom the team by the end of the year. We want to have we want to go into this new space full steam ahead.
Yeah.
So it makes sense to bite the bullet now,
Yep.
spread the clients out a little bit more. The experience stays there, and then we've got the new space coming, and then it's just going to blow up. And those two new coaches will be caught up by then.
That's a lot of thought and intentionality.
Versus, should we hire somebody today?
Exactly. And that was kind of the reason that I thought, with the conversation we've had with our clients lately, it's such, one, we all know that this is one of the hardest aspects of the industry, if not, or this business, if not the.
Is the turnover. Look,
Yeah.
the average lifespan of a personal trainer is 12 months or less.
Really?
In this industry,
I did not know.
globally. So if you get a coach for 2, 3, 4 years, you're way ahead. Now, the question is, and this is something we're working with our new coaching client, is he has a gym that, you know, you can only go so far, right? As a coach, you kind of like, this is it. This is your ceiling.
Sure.
This is your bottom. And that's you're technically a cog in the wheel. And unless there's another position for that person to move up to, they're probably going to leave. But actually, this is funny. Both new coaching clients have the same issues different ways. Our coaching client number 2 has the internal need that he feels like he has to open up a 3rd location to give those people opportunities so they don't leave him.
Wow.
And we had a discussion yesterday about this. I'm like, look, man, if they wanted to make more money, they can go start their own gym. And take all the risk that you're taking. You don't need to open up another gym just so they don't leave you. If they want to make more, they can go do it. Obviously, that you don't want that to be the case. So we're working through that together in a custom fashion through our coaching program to determine what's the next move for him. That's coaching client number 2. No, coaching client number 1 is his coaches kind of just are the status quo, and he can't ever get anything out of them more than what they're doing, and he feels like there's no reason to. There's no step
incentive,
up.
There's no incentive beyond that. Sure.
I'm getting paid to do this job, and I'm moving on.
Yeah.
And it's interesting. You're going to find different people in this world that are motivated by different things.
Mm-hmm.
I'll give you a great example. Just had a conversation. My dad was over. It was my daughter's birthday. We're doing a birthday party. We were talking about this. For whatever reason, this is what we talk about. He said, when we were working in this hotel, he was in the hospitality industry. He was a project manager building hotels and stuff and operational stuff. There was a housekeeper that was the best housekeeper. Juanita was her name. He told me, he's like, this housekeeper was awesome. She just was better than everybody else. Everything was clean, perfect, right where it needed to be, the crisp corners. And anytime they put somebody with her, she would train them up and move on and everything. And they gave her the opportunity, like, look, you're the best. You are the best at what you do. We want to put you in a managerial position and coach everybody up to do what you're doing.
Sure.
And it was triple the money. And she turned it down because she didn't want the responsibility of decision making and having people
rely or that
she was in
they had to
charge
look
of.
up to. Yeah.
Isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting?
That is.
She was the best at what she did. She can make 3 times what she was doing, but she wanted to clock in, clock out, and just do her job. And that's what she wanted to do with her life. Not everybody has the same drive as a entrepreneur that's listening to this. Like, if you're listening to this, you're not Juanita.
You're probably not that.
You're not Juanita.
Yeah.
You're not Juanita. But there are people in this world, we can't figure it out because that's not in our DNA, that want to clock in, want to clock out, and do their job, and they want to do it great. And that's all they want to do.
Yeah. But it's not some. That's the masses. And you can see that. You can see that by the way that society structured, business is structured in society. There's not a million, lack of numbers, right? There's not the same percentage of entrepreneurs and managerial positions as there are the people fulfilling the work. So most people they're just motivated to go collect a paycheck, but they don't want to do 1 ounce more work.
Right.
Even if it comes with 1 ounce more, a little bit more pay. No, it's like, hey, cool, I'm content here. Comfort, satisfaction, risk, reward, all of that stuff's figured out. And I bet you do personality types, they're all the same personality types. The entrepreneurial ones, we're alpha rockers.
And you would think if you are in an entrepreneurial, that's your profile on Facebook, typically all you're seeing is all these grinders and people pushing and, you got to work hard to make more money. That's not the majority.
No.
But that's what you think is the majority because that's what you're being fed, spoon-fed with the algorithm. You see these grinders and this guy just, posting his check on there. I just made 20 G's, and his new car and all this stuff. And you think everybody's like that. But no, there's way more Juanitas in the world, and there's way more coaches that are just happy to do their job. So don't feel the need to open up a third location or create these levels in your gym that don't need to be there, like middle management style stuff, just to give your person a place to go. To combat that, if you don't have that structure in your gym, you can absolutely put coaches in charge of specific things in your gym that go, on top of their training role.
Sure.
And they can make more money that way.
Absolutely.
Maybe it's program design. Maybe it's putting together challenges. Maybe it's outreach. Maybe they're the accountability coach. Maybe they do nutrition. Maybe you incentivize them on supplement sales. Maybe they want to do some sales and you give them a little kickback on the sales stuff. And there's other things you can do. One word of caution is two words of caution. First one is coaches are great coaches for a reason. It's because they're probably not good at sales and they're probably not good at these other things. Word of caution. Number 2, the second word of caution is you can't pile on the stuff onto your coaches that already have a full schedule and there's no other time for them to do that stuff. You have to build in breaks and hours off during your schedule for them to do those extra responsibilities. So you take them off the floor, which again, you're not making revenue in that capacity, that hour, but you're having them do other things.
Yeah. I mean, it takes a lot of things to make a business run,
Yes.
And that's something that I think maybe the coach, why are coaches so diva-ish? Like we hold them, we put them on this damn pedestal. Coaches put themselves on a pedestal. Like the coaching position in this industry is so mind-blowing versus a position in every other job out there. Right. It comes with
interesting. And it's because the coach-client relationship, they hear it from the client, how great they are. I don't know what to do without you. You're the best coach I've ever had. And they just get this big head and they don't think they're replaceable.
So every other hour, right, on their job, between training sessions, they just scrub toilets. It's just like,
they'll run out the door.
Yeah.
They'll run out the door.
But it's like, but to your point about giving them other responsibilities, but the time to do it, guys, you don't need a full-time admin necessarily to do some of this supplementary work. If this is stuff that you have the team to do, that's capable of doing it, and room on the schedules, just to put it on their, to put that on their plate.
Yeah.
It might be, maybe you take the team that you already have, and everybody makes a little bit more money, but it's still a hell of a lot less than one full-time employee. But all of the work gets done. Tim and I use the term, you got to have the right people in the right seats of the bus. The hardest thing to do is add another seat to that bus. Like there's always that filling. You got to fulfill, the burden of paying that person's wage. And
I would tell you to find good quality coaches, it seems like it's harder now than it's ever been. So there's some things that you can do now even if you don't need another coach, to put you in a position where
Glad you
you're
brought
not
it up.
scrambling. Because it seems like here that we only look for a coach when
you need it.
And sometimes that could lead to a bad hire because you're rushing to make a decision. So there's ways to do it. First thing I would do, and we will do, is just put a job posting on your website, careers or jobs or whatever, and just keep it on there and be able to collect resumes all year long. Even if you don't need it, build the pipeline of candidates that you can reach out to or email when there is a position open.
Sure.
That's one thing that we're going to do pretty much right away, because we don't want to ever, because like I said, you got a lifespan on these coaches. Great that if you had somebody in your organization for 10, 15 years, that's great. However, it's not normal.
It's not the norm, yeah.
Think about all the people that came and went for that one person to go 10 years in your organization. So that's one thing to think about. Number two is you could always be out on Indeed and have a posting there, and just $5 a day or whatever it is, and just have it out there and to collect resumes more proactively than passively by having it on your website. That's the second thing. Third thing, I've never done it, but there's a lot of good things to say about an internship program. I know some great coaches and gym owners that do these, and they live and die by the internship. One of them is Justin Grinnell up in Michigan. He's got a real good tie into Michigan State. And he's got an internship program where he gets them from the college, and they're and they're working for free, but they're learning the systems, they're learning about the industry, and that's awesome. Frank Nash does a great job doing this. Again, we never did it here for a couple reasons. In my head, and it's probably the wrong way to think about it, I'll be open and honest with you guys. I just didn't want to babysit somebody and feel like I had to make sure that they were learning and coaching and making sure that I was worried about this person that we may never hire.
Yep.
Taking away from the experience from the client.
Sure.
And I just, for me, I'm sure you guys can shoot 15 holes in that argument, but that was just the way my mind worked, and still is, but whatever. Internship programs are a great way. We've got a great relationship with Exos. Exos is right up the street. We just, anytime we have an opening, we reach out to them, see if they have any great candidates. They do great education through, mentorship programs and internship programs from there. We know if we get an Exos coach that they already know the lingo, they understand how we train. We're very in alignment with what Exos does. A lot of our programs come from the coaches that came from Exos, and that's the way we've always operated. Just went to lunch with one of their employees, and he sent us a new resume today. So it's it's great to have those relationships.
Sure.
Yeah, and I think there's other ones out there. I know there's down the street the other way, isn't there? I'll have to come up with the name, but there's another company that does a lot of education around CrossFit and stuff.
I don't know what that one up here. I think even NASM's out here. Or
right.
I think that
but
like there's organizations, and I'm pretty sure you can get. I think you can even reach out to some of them and have some feelers on people that are going through their programs. If you have, obviously, a massive need or how bad, you need candidates. There are places you can go for sure. I like that local or that, the feeder system from somebody who's in alignment.
Yes.
That wouldn't work with just any organization,
No.
that was certifying people. Like we wouldn't just take those candidates just because they had something. So I like that. That's a great idea. And that's a good one too, because that's the only way to prevent that kind of firing in the spot. You're not firing on this, but like hiring on the spot almost, like that need of, we need somebody today or yesterday,
I know. And it sucks because a lot of times you get 2 weeks notice, coaches moving on, they're moving. We've had coaches, move for great reasons. We've had, they got married and moved to freaking Oakland, like we had a great coach there.
Yep.
She moved. Some coaches want to go off and do their own thing. That's going to happen, especially in today's world of online coaching. This seems to be the norm. I think it's been accelerated by the fact that gyms were closed and online training took off. That's sometimes going to happen. Going back to school or moving, family. A lot of it's marriage. Like they move with the husband or the wife or whatever, and they go to, whatever. So there's a lot of reasons why coaches leave.
Yeah, it's probably the average age
of the younger coaches.
Where they are in their personal lives, like all those things are. It's like our clients, right? Like our clients leave for certain reasons. It's not those usually. It's later in life stages. So
exactly.
And why we prefer that. clientele.
We like the older clientele because they have roots.
Yeah, exactly. They don't have all of those variables that take them from location to location all the time.
Yeah, and we've talked about that, guys. Just kind of recap on that. The we've always found that our lower memberships or boot camp team training seems to have a lower retention than our personal training clients, and we look at the ages, and the ages of the people in our boot camps, the high metabolic training, they're typically younger, and when you're younger, you get a new promotion at work, you move, you get married, school, like everything keeps you moving around. Because I think about when I was a little bit younger, I was moving all over the place. I was different states, different within the same state, moving around. So same thing with the coaches. If you're hiring young coaches, that's also something that could happen as well.
Yeah, these are just things. And again, we just wanted to highlight this because we've seen a lot of people out there just like, oh, I need, I'm hiring a new coach. But then they think about, 3 months down the road, it's like, how the hell am I going to afford to keep this person on staff? Well, that's because you made the decision way too prematurely, or you should have exhausted these options first. All of this, though, these are the things that we teach in our coaching program, and this is why we are so specific, detail-oriented. I mean, this is literally like week 2. Delivery systems. Like, we're going to talk about all of this stuff with you. But
in week 2, yeah, we got a nice new crop of coaching clients, so that's exciting for us. So guys, if you're interested in we call it our private client coaching program. It's basically one-on-one coaching.
It's one-on-one coaching.
You're going to work with me, you're going to work with Randy, and we've got our curriculum, and then it goes in any direction we need to go. Staffing might be your issue. We're going to talk all about that. Maybe it's you understand that semi-private's the way to go and you're not sure how to get there. It's something that we're great at. So that's what people come to us for the coaching program. If you want to jump on a call, Randy, pfmarketingsolutions.com/call. Do we have our SMS set up yet for the...
What day is today? Tuesday? I mean, we can absolutely make sure that, yeah, sure. So if you want to...
You have to get the phone number.
Yeah, I don't have the phone number offhand. So the next episode, one of the things that I've been working on is I talked to all you guys. You call me with the things you want to know and things like that. And so there's been a clear understanding that what we do with automation isn't as easy to understand as we talk about it. So I wanted to give you guys a clear example of what that stuff is like. So next episode, I'm going to have a keyword that you'll text in, and you'll see exactly what we do with our CLA, exactly how this actually will work in your business. You'll have an opportunity, if you do decide to jump on a call, we could do a demo, but it'll be pretty cool. Kind of just a little on the spot demo of its own. So
and then you'll see this, you'll be like, oh, we can use this at the gym too.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And it is apples for apples, like the same idea. We'll just customize it to what you're doing within your 4 walls.
Oh yeah,
it's fun.
All right, cool guys. So that's it for this episode. Hopefully you're not under the gun that you need to hire somebody. You're prepared and you're walking through the reasons and the right times to hire, instead of just reactionary.
Yeah.
So, go do work. Guys, until next episode, keep changing lives. See you.